Sure. All right. Good morning, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello. It's
Good
time to start the
morning.
show.
Nicole Y. Carter, you are number one. Good morning.
Good
Johanna,
morning.
good morning. It's good to see you all. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Hey, y'all. Good morning, Sheila. Is it
Good morning.
Taniki? I didn't see that. Maria, good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Sheila. We are coming live this morning on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. We didn't get to get out here yesterday. Like we shared with you all that we're traveling, and sometimes the internet doesn't work the way that we want it to work. But good morning, Francesca Robinson. It's good to see you, sweetie. Good morning, Latasha, Teresa, Nakomi, all of you that are joining us live.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
I told you don't be doing that on here. Good morning. This is not your show. Stop. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. You don't be acting right. Good morning. This is First Baked Manna Live. We are Skip and Melva Henderson. It feels like my face is all the way inside the camera. But anyway.
That's the anointing.
Yeah, well, we are Melva and Skip Henderson. We are coming to you this morning, Fresh Baked Manna Live, because we want to add value to your day. That's our mission, is to help you be the best version of you that you can be. It's a powerful thing when you show up in the world strong. And so our desire is to give you something, some tools, if you will, that will help you throughout the day to walk in the fullness of what God has for you. And so that's our desire, is to see you be the best version of you that you can be. And so,
Yeah, and think about it. If you don't be something, why not be the best?
right.
Well, why not be the best?
Right. And
And
God's
be
word.
the best at being your best.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a W all around.
Right, and God's word helps us to be our best. And that's the thing that you all need to understand. That's why we keep referring to the word, because the word, you can take the word and put it inside of the context of your everyday and walk out and do things that you didn't even realize that you could do. We were talking about faith, this morning on the prayer line, and talking about how faith is such a critical key to our walking out what God has called us to do, because you're going to have to believe even when times get rough and it looks like you're not going to move into the space that you've been called to. You got to believe it. You got to believe in your, you got to believe in yourself. That's what I realized. I realized there was a lot of times in my life where, although knew God could anoint me, I knew all of that, but I didn't believe in myself. And because I didn't believe in myself, there were places that I could have stepped into that I didn't step into because I was afraid, because I just didn't believe in myself and I didn't think that I had the goods. And I heard an African ambassador say one time, for every vocation, there is an equal allocation of grace, is how he said it. And that really resonated with me. And he was saying, for everything that you are called to do, there will be the equipping to do it. God would be unjust to ask something of you and then not give you the power to be able to do it, or the equipment. It's like the military.
Yeah. I love that, again, God doesn't send you an assignment that he hasn't gotten you ready for. Right. And with that being understood, I think about, even, I'm the type of person that is very much confident in what I'm confident in. Let's just say that. Where I'm confident, you can't beat me being confident in that. It's those areas that I'm not. I think about the soldier when Jesus said to him, how many times should I forgive folk who do stuff? And he said 70 times 7. Jesus said, Lord, help my belief. But some things you got belief in, and there's certain things you got to ask the Lord to help you in those areas to get you to a place of whole life confidence or whole life believing. It's real easy to believe in God, but do you believe in the God in you? Do you believe that God wants to use you, work through you? manifest through you, show up and blow up in you? Can you and do you believe that you're the vessel that he has justified and qualified for the task that you're getting ready to go into or do? And when you understand that, you know, I need to do some things in my mind to get me ready for whatever it is that God has me to do. And once I get my mind right, everything else will be right.
You have to do the work though, and that's the thing, is that you can't want transformation in your life. You can't want to be a person of influence and think that it's just going to happen for you by osmosis. It will not. Anything that's worth having has to be worth working for to have it. And so you're not going to just step over into this person that you want to be. There is work in it. And every day you got to be working at it. Every day you got to have a vision in front of you of who it is that you want to be. You know who it is that you want to be in your heart. But how is that translating in your day to day? What are you doing to ensure that you get there in the everyday? I made up my mind that there is not one day that I'm going to face that I'm not going to do something to add value to who I am and what I believe that I'm called to do. Every single day before my feet get into bed at night, I'm asking myself every single night, what did you do for what you felt like you were called to do? How did you increase your business? How did you increase your life? How did you increase the way that you think? And so I'm forever doing things to increase myself so that I can go, so that I can take my life to the next level. I don't want things to be going by me and opportunities to be presented to me that I'm not ready to step into, because they're going to come. The opportunities for your life are going to come because that's just the way that God set it up. But will you be ready for those opportunities when they come? And if you don't do the necessary work every single day, I mean, every day, reading those books, listening to those podcasts, watching those YouTube videos, getting in the right circles, having those tough conversations, and being okay with being in the room when you don't know nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. There have been spaces that I've been in, and in those spaces, I don't know anybody. I don't know anything about what they're talking about, but I stay there because I want to grow. I want to grow. And unless I stay there, I'm not going to grow. I was telling, we were doing this thing on Clubhouse, and I was saying that for like 9 episodes of a show, I stayed and I watched this show where they were speaking Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but I watched 9 seasons, not episodes, 9 seasons of a show, and they were just speaking Spanish. What was I doing? I was immersing myself in a culture that I want to learn about. And so I was immersing myself in it. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to immerse yourself in things that you don't know. I didn't know what them people were talking about. But the more I listened and then I watched what was going on, I began to identify with what was happening. Oh, that's what that meant. Oh, okay, I get it. And so then they would say certain words over and over and over again. And I came to understand what certain words, Spanish words, meant. And that's the way you got to be about your life.
Yeah, think about this. Whatever you immerse yourself in, you gets on you. Whatever you immerse yourself in gets on you. And it becomes a takeaway for you that you leave that place with that on you. Think about Moses when he had to go and immerse himself in God up on the mountain. He came back down, and the glory that he spent, when he spent time with glory, glory was on him so bright that the people like, I can't even look at your face. Cover your face. You too bright right now. And that's the place you have to get with whatever you're doing. You got to immerse yourself in it if you want it on you.
Yeah, that's so good.
You have to.
So good.
I mean, it's just, and it's in everything. If you want the word and God's presence on your life, you got to immerse yourself in it. If you want God's dreams to be fulfilled in your life, you got to immerse yourself in God's dreams. And so it's so important that you make sure that you immerse yourself in it. Because just, if you've ever been to a swimming pool or a beach or something, When you just want to figure out the temperature of something, what do? You put your toe in it, just enough to let you, well, okay, that temperature's not so bad, and then you'll walk out in it a little farther, and then you may get it up to your ankles, and then you may go a little farther, your knees, your legs, but then there's a point where you get enough confidence, you're like, you know what, just dive on in, get on up under the water, and and then enjoy the benefits of immersing yourself in the water. Because you got into that pool, that ocean, to enjoy the benefits of cooling you off or whatever. And so that's what happens when you immerse yourself. Not only does it get on you, but you enjoy the benefits of it.
Yeah. And then here's the other thing is that once you step out to do what's in your heart to do, you're going to have to storm the island and burn the boats, like they say. And what that means is that once you get out there, you're going to have to be committed to being out there.
All in.
And burning the boat so that you cannot go back. Because in our walk with God, when we step out to do something, there is no place to go except up and forward. Right. That's it. I was sharing with our congregation about how you weren't given eyes in the back of your head. You can't see your back. You can see some of the things that are in front of you, but you can't see your back. And God designed us that way on purpose because he never wants you thinking about your back. He never wants you looking behind you. So you don't have heads in the back of your head. You don't have eyes in the back of your head. Your eyes are only forward because that's the way God wants you to live your whole life, advancing forward, moving forward. And so storming the island and burning the boats means I can't go back. There's nothing to go back to. So what I have to do now in this space that I'm in, I've got to make the most of it. And so I'm in a new space, so I've got to learn how to operate in this space. I got to learn how to do it. And I've got to execute. I've got, and that's what separates, in my opinion, that's what separates the men from the boys, is the people who execute in life and then those who don't.
Think about it. What that psalmist that did this song. I'm not going back. I'm moving ahead. Right. I'm here to declare to you, my past is over in you. All things are brand new. And that's the place that you have to get to. There's nothing to go back to, y'all.
There's nothing to go back to. Nothing to go back to. Never. I don't care. There's nothing to go back. You may want to go back, but you can't. I'm going to say it again. Storm the island, burn the boat. And what that means, there's no way. No way. To go back is to indicate that you don't have what it takes to move yourself forward and to take your life to the next level. And so we're not.
But thinking about that, you burn the boat because you're there to occupy the space you're going to. You're like, I can't go back to the. Think about this. For those of you who are over 20, you can never go back and be a teenager. Can't never go back. As much as you may love that decade that you were in, you love the 70s or the 80s, that was your decade and you wish you could go back to it, you can never go back to it. There has to always be a moving forward in your life to get what God has for you. God is a God of movement. He's the God of occupy. He's a God of take territory, expanding territory. That's who he is. And he expects us to be like him and do that. Occupy, move forward, expand, be larger, be bigger, be greater. Don't settle for where you are when there's another step. That's why I always think about, he always tells us, for we walk by faith. That means there's movement when we have put our faith in it. When we add faith to it, we take steps. We take steps. We take steps. And so faith is so important because God is always looking for movement. When God told Abraham, it's time for you to be the father of many nations, he said, listen, go. Have some movement to a land I'll show you. And so there has to be a place where God's going to show you where you're going to show up and blow up.
Yeah. And so, look at your life today. Not like seriously. Look at your life and start asking yourself some questions. Am I at my max where I am? When Skip and I first got together, one of the things that he said to me is, Melva, I'll let you tell what you said.
Go ahead, you could tell.
No.
It's so pretty when you say it. It's so cute.
He said to me, he said, Melva, he said, when we get married, I want to be with someone. We weren't married at the time. He said, I want to be with someone that understands that I'm going to advance in life. And at every level that I'm called to live on, I want to live at the top of that level. When I'm at the crawling level, I want to live at the top of the crawling level. Then when I get to the walking level, or with the level where I'm holding on to the chairs and the tables, I want to get to the top of that level. Then when I get to the level where I'm walking by myself, I want to live at the top of that level, no matter what I can do. But there's something else that you said. You said, even when I get to the level where I can walk, I'm going to continue to crawl for a short season so that I can perfect what I'm doing.
And maximize and get everything I'm supposed to get out of that level. And I think that's where a lot of people don't take advantage of. Have you maxed out the level? Now, mind you, you may start to get, it may start to feel uncomfortable, but have you gotten everything you're supposed to get out of that level? Did you drain it of, there's nothing left for you? And I think that may be the reason why some people try to look back, because they haven't gotten everything that they were supposed to get out of that level. When there's nothing to go back to, you don't think about back. You don't think about going back to a plate that you emptied, that you ate all of it on. And so there has to be I got to get everything, every drop of everything on this level so I can move to the next level and never think about the level that I just left from.
And here's what it looks like, you all. It's you educating yourself. You got to educate yourself. You can't want to be in a space that you have no knowledge about.
Right.
So educating yourself is critical. Skip wants to be in the ESPN space, or something similar to that. And so every day, sometimes all day, sports is playing in our house. Every day, all day, every day, all day. Why? Because he's learning, he's educating himself in that arena. That's the arena that he wants to be in. So coupled with God's word, that's where it is. I, on the other hand, I desire to be in leadership and serving people. And so I'm constantly filling myself with that information. Why? Because I want to grow. I want to get better. And so in order to get better, you've got to be taking in information. And I'm going to tell y'all, if you're not on Clubhouse, you're missing out, because that information, they're constantly pumping information, no matter what it is that you're called to do or you feel like you want to get into. That information right now is out there free on Clubhouse, free of charge. I'm talking about CEOs of billion-dollar corporations are out there in every sector of society. So that's a plug for Clubhouse. You can make that check payable to Melva Henderson. Anyway, it's just really important.
And Skip.
Yeah, and Skip, yeah. It's really important that you educate yourself. I went back to school after having been out of school. I graduated from Bible college in 1992. I went back to Bible college. I'm in school working on my master's degree right now because I understood. I felt like I had hit a lid in my life. I felt like I, I can't go any higher because I don't know what to do. I don't know anything else. I felt like I maximized what was in my mind. And I'm telling you, our brains have amazing capabilities. And so I maximized, and I'm going to share something with you. Recently, we were on a call with Anita Holloman, and there was another therapist. Her name was Simone, and I don't know her last name, and I'm so sorry, Simone. But she made this statement. She said that it is proven, statistically proven, that there is a part of our brains that we do not use. And she said, and every day I'm saying to God, give me access to the part of my brain that I don't use. That was so powerful to me. And I've been praying that every day since I heard it. God, thank you for giving me access to the part of my brain that I don't use, because I don't want anything that God has given me and not be able to take advantage of it. And so as we're praying these prayers, it also requires that, okay, so once he expands your capacity for more, that means that you have the capacity to take in more information. And so if you feel like you've hit a lid, and it's not just about what your boss, the law of the lid says you can't go higher than your leader. But it's not just about what your boss doesn't know, but it's about what you don't know. And so moving yourself into a space or an arena where you're learning more, you're hearing more, you're expanding your vocabulary, you're expanding your worldview. It's important. And so if you want to be better, you're going to have to educate yourself. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how old you are. You're never too old and you're never too young to learn more.
I mean, even the Bible says, beloved, I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health, even equal to,
Yeah.
equal to, as your soul, your knowledge prospers. Your thinker, your reasoner, your chooser. And so you have to be able to say, if I want to expand my territory, I got to expand my thinking. When my thinking comes up, my life comes up.
Absolutely.
When my knowledge comes up, my life comes up. Think about it. In the natural, you get paid according to your education. If you have an elementary degree or elementary school education, you get paid on that level. If you have a high school, you get paid on that level. If you have an associate's degree, you get paid on that level. If you have a bachelor's, master's, doctor's, you get paid on the level of knowledge that you have. And for me, really, I tell people, it's really not your knowledge, it's really your level of discipline. What doctors have proven is I'm disciplined enough and I have enough knowledge that I'm able to now, and I can think. It's really your level of thinking. Let me say that, your level of thinking. Because a doctor has the ability to think, I know what's wrong with you, and I can tell you how to fix you. Here's a prescription for that. I know what's wrong with you, and this is how I think you should, what will fix you. And so you have to make sure you educate yourself. Education, knowledge is key.
Yeah.
It's so key.
Many years, the church, your head in here. Get your head in here. Many years ago, wait, let me finish. Many years ago, when we grew up in the church, I'm from the old school church. And when we grew up in the church, they did not put emphasis on education. And so consequently, a lot of the believers back in the day, they didn't further their education. And so because they didn't further their education, they only went so far. Well, we don't believe that way. We believe that you can be as educated as you desire to be in order to do what you need to do to get the equipping and the tools that you need to fulfill God's plan. He's going to take care of you from a spiritual standpoint. He's giving you everything that pertains to life and godliness. He's giving you a brain and a mind that can receive information. But it is up to you to make your life what you want it to be. It is not up to somebody else to make your life what you want it to be. As much as I love Skip, I would love to sit back and say, well, it's up to Skip to make me who I'm supposed to be. He's my husband. He's supposed to provide for me. But I'm not waiting on Skip to provide for me.
I'm supposed to be the head.
Right. I appreciate that, but I'm not leaning into that. God has put something in me. And as his wife, he's given me permission. I'll say that. He's given me a platform to be able to do what I'm called to do. He doesn't hold me back. But I have to make my life what I want it to be. I'm not waiting on him to do that for me. Don't wait for somebody else to make your life what it needs to be, not your husband. We got a lot of women and a lot of men that say, I could do this if it weren't for my wife. I could do this if it weren't for my husband. No, do you. Be the best version of you that you can be, and do it in a way that will keep peace in your household. And maybe we need to do some teaching on marriage and, when you got a call on your life and one person wants to go in one direction and another person wants to go in another direction, and you got to support one another in what you're called. I'm telling you, life is sweet. I support Skip's desire to own the Bucks. I support his desire.
And I will.
I support his desire to be a part of the sports arena. And he supports my desire to be in the ministry arena. That is where I shine. That's where he shines.
And to be a #1 bookseller.
Right. We support that.
Yeah.
We don't fight with it. And have we ever fought about it? Yes, we have had fights about it. Because as I was...
Let me help you understand. Ain't never been any physical fights.
No,
we've had some discussions.
Some intense discussions about it.
Yeah.
Don't be acting like we don't get into
it. No, but fighting can mean different things to different people. Let me just say this. I have never, in the history of our relationship, ever put my hands on her.
No, never. No. And he's never called me out of my name.
Ever.
He's never, never. And he's never like disrespected me intentionally or nothing like that. No, we don't have that. But that don't mean our marriage has been perfect. It ain't been perfect. So let's put that in.
No. That ain't the same the other way. Don't get it twisted. I don't have to wear makeup because of my eye a few times.
Stop it. Anyway, my point is this. You know, if you're in a relationship with someone and it seems like that individual is not allowing you to be the best version of you that you can be, you need to step back, go to God and ask God to give you the wisdom on how to walk with them. Because, you know, I was doing some publishing stuff. I was ghostwriting for a while, and Skip he couldn't understand what it was that I was doing, and he didn't like it, and he put a lot of pressure on me. And so I had to pull back and go to him and say, okay, what can I do that's not going to bring strife in my household? Because I'm not going to sacrifice my marriage to go after my dream. I'm just not doing that. That's not me. Some people are okay with that. I'm not okay with sacrificing my children or my marriage to go after my dream. I believe that God can grace me in my marriage, with my children, with my family, to do what I've been called to do, and I don't have to lose nothing. I just don't believe that God is okay. But when you come and follow me, you're going to lose your marriage, you're going to lose your kids, you're going to lose your health. I don't believe that's God. I don't. Will challenges come in those areas? Yes. But I believe that it's God's will that I advance in every area of my... He said, I want you to prosper and be in health even as your soul prospers. That's total life prosperity. And so if I'm just thinking about, you know, it's only going to be prosperous in the thing that he's called me to do. He's called me to be a wife. He's called me to be a mother. And so that's a calling on my life too. So his plan includes those things.
Yeah, and I think for me, just talking about that point, the biggest issue for me is when Melva writes, writing takes over for her. And what I saw, for me, I felt like I was being neglected. Like, hey, where do I fit? You're writing, 9 hours a day, and then you cook, and then you're in the bed. I'm like, am I still a part of this? Am I still a part of you? And, if I could be transparent, I think it became some insecurities. And I'm not an insecure guy. I'm really not. But I think I began to feel some insecurity. You better straighten your face. But I think that's what it was. I felt insecure about something else is in front of me that shouldn't be. And once I just settled it. We had a conversation, and communication is everything. Because whether the conversation is good or bad, at least there was a conversation that everybody knows where you are, that the person you're speaking to or dealing with knows where you are, your thoughts about it. And sometimes just hearing the other person's thoughts can make your actions different.
Yeah, and I think that I had, as we're talking about this, and so many, it's not just this instance. There were instances where he would get involved in stuff and I would feel insecure as well. And what we have to do in those times, because we've been married for almost 30 years now. And
no, tell them how many.
I don't remember.
What?
26, 25. That's what you get. See, we wouldn't even be fighting about this if you had just left this alone. I was saying something. We have all had our challenges where we felt insecure. And what we had to do is make a commitment to one another that we were going to speak into that insecurity for each other. When he's insecure, then I would have to give him information so that he could understand, you don't have to be insecure about this, because this, what I'm doing right now, is not going to take anything away from you. And once he heard that, then it was like, oh, okay, it ain't gonna take nothing from me. Okay, then that's fine. And the same was true for us, but we had to stop our lives and sit down and say, okay, why you acting like this? What is this all about? Versus us constantly falling out about it, we had to stop, communicate about it, and we had to address it. And after we addressed it, then we begin to move in a different way, giving explanation to what we're doing. Because it's when you hide stuff that has the tendency of making people insecure. And I was hiding when I would start writing. I wouldn't tell him, I would just start writing, but he knew something was occupying my time and I wasn't communicating with him. And it's just because of some things that happened in the past. I was just like, no, you're not gonna get on my back about it, so you're not even gonna know that I'm writing. But when I start writing, it could take me days to do what I'm doing. And so that's important.
I wish it would only be days. I could deal with days.
Yeah.
But when you start writing, it takes her weeks and months to write because she gets immersed. She gets baptized in the writing process. So as a result, we gotta stop. So as a result, she writes great books, y'all. But that's because she immerses herself in the process.
I do. I hope that we've said something today that's helped you all, because our desire is to add value to your life. That's really what this is, right? So that you can be the best version of you that God has called you to be. There's so much in you. There's greatness in you. Tap into it. Pull it out of you. Get out there. The world is waiting for you. The pandemic pulled the walls down. And so now we out here. And we didn't come out here to blend in. Like Bill Winston says, we came out here to take over. And that's what we're doing. So God bless you all. Love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Go be the best version of you that you can be. Bye-bye. See you.